Hey, what's up, studs? Ryan here with MandRproductions with my review of the LEGO Summer 2020 Harry Potter Hedwig set number 75979 with 630 pieces. This set only costs $40 in the United States. I do have a European version box, that's why the piece count is not on the box. It has a pretty simplistic box art showing Hedwig basically displayed on a wooden table there with some blue fog in the background. You'll also see the top side of Hedwig as well as the two characters included in the set, Harry Potter and Hedwig, which can be displayed with the Hedwig character there on his stand. I will say this is my least favorite of the Harry Potter Summer 2020 sets. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad set. It's just my personal least favorite. The back of the box shows off everything you would normally expect to see on the back of the box, including the display dimensions of the Hedwig, so that you can know if it's going to fit in your space, if that's something that is important to you, and it shows you the feature of the flapping wings. So let's go ahead and take a look at the characters. The characters, as I mentioned, come on a little stand, which can be attached to the larger stand that Hedwig resides on. I'll show that whole thing in a moment. But it does have Hedwig on a little pillar, and Hedwig does have the open wings mold for him, and that's the first time we've actually seen that for LEGO Harry Potter. Typically, they have him with his closed-up wings just kind of sitting there, but this is actually the first time we see him in basically flight mode, and that's actually really neat to see, and it kind of is to represent what you see in the actual set with Hedwig as well. The Harry Potter figure was also excellently done. I love the back print on him with the scarf on there, as well as on the front side with the scarf as well, and the Gryffindor logo and everything. He's got a very scared looking face. You can see his scar through the hairpiece, which is a pretty spot-on hairpiece in my opinion. They've given him blue hands, and then you also have the wand, which is obviously the newer style wand for LEGO Harry Potter, so you can put it in different positions and such, which is great, something that you did not have back in the earlier days of LEGO Harry Potter, but something they've changed up with these newer sets in the late 2010s and early 2020s here. So two faces, and that's great. Let me show you how this attaches to the stand. So you've got Harry and Hedwig on a little stand, and then you get big Hedwig here on his big old stand there, and this can either just be displayed separately like so, or there's actually a little stud there, and you're going to line up the center stud on this and just drop it on there. It's pretty straightforward. I like the way it looks when they're on there. I also think it's just fine without them on there. You can do with or without the whole characters on the stand thing. It's up to you. I personally won't display it like this. I'll probably put the minifigures in separate storage with the rest of the Harry Potter minifigures from this particular wave. Something to say about the stand just off the bat here is that they do have kind of the alternating colors of Gryffindor, which is awesome to see that they kind of got that in there. And it's only a small touch. It's not even something you really notice that really pops out at you on the build, but it definitely is that subtle bit of coloring that I think is great on this. You also have a Hedwig logo here, and that is going to be on a sticker. Unfortunately, they did not print that, so unfortunately you're getting a sticker there, and you're also seeing a sticker for the letter that Hedwig is carrying. It's a pretty simple letter build. It's got the Hogwarts logo in the middle though as a sticker, and it looks decent enough. I kind of wish they had kind of finished out the look of it with those two areas there with maybe some smaller stickers, but unfortunately they did not. And you can actually take the letter off if you remove his claws there, but there's no real use to taking the letter off. It just is an option if that's something you really wanted to do. The stand is at a really great angle. It's probably like 10 or 15 degrees back, and the building process behind that is actually kind of interesting. It's a fun one, I would say. In general, with this build, you go from building a stand to a bird, so I think that that is definitely something that's dynamic with this set. As far as like the building experiences for people that care about that, and you'll notice the mechanism kind of hidden away on the back side of the display so that you don't see it at most angles, other than when you're looking at the set from the back. Then you'll see all the mechanisms that make the wings actually flap on Hedwig. But before we do show off the mechanism, I want to show off how good the Hedwig looks, or bad, depends on how you feel about it. I don't particularly love how pointed his face is at the front. I wish they could have made it a little bit more rounded, because you don't see 90-degree angles like that in real life, I feel like, on an owl. So that to me is maybe the most jarring part of the Hedwig. Other than that, I think they did a decent job with the coloring on the feathers and everything. They use a lot of little tile pieces in this set to get that down, and that's to be expected. It is kind of a nice combination of tiled pieces and studded pieces so that you get a little bit of that Lego feel, but it still has that premium clean look to it. I think that's a good way to put it there. And his eyes are printed, so They are the printed like inverted tile pieces in black there. They're just got gold circles on them essentially. It looks nice. His head can swivel left and right, so you can kind of get a little bit of an angle on there like you would with an owl, like looking to one side or the other. The beak is made up of a simple black piece there. It's kind of like a 1x1 plate with the overhanging bit. His tail feathers are really clean, and then up underneath his tail feathers, you'll see the rest of the mechanism for making the wings move. And you do see a little bit of that Technic workings from the backside, but again, this is really supposed to be displayed like this so that you don't see a lot of that Technic stuff that really makes this thing go. So let me show you guys that you can actually move some of his feathers on the very end of his wings here. So these can move and whatnot, and I guess that could be important too. You can even move these tail ones kind of as you please, although I wish they were more stuck in place because I feel like they're going to get knocked out of place, and then that's going to be annoying to me, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. Ultimately though, the main feature of the set has to do with this lever here. And all you have to do with this little bit here, and it's easier to grab both sides, because if you just grab one, it's going to be a little bit more friction for you to make it work. But if you grab both sides and just kind of spin while putting pressure down on the actual base, you're going to be able to make the wings flap very easily there. So you can see them just kind of flapping, and it works really well. I love it. I think it actually is a neat feature. It's something unique that you don't see in a ton of sets. Obviously, LEGO doesn't make a lot of, you know, realistic looking or semi-realistic looking bird sets like this, but I still think that it was a really neat idea for them to make that the feature of the Hedwig buildable character. And I think this is obviously a huge departure from what you see with the Target promo that we had a couple years ago, and I actually really like that, and I kind of still want to get that one, but this one is something unique in that aspect, and maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was when I first saw the pictures. I'll give it that. You do see some dynamic range in the motion there, so you can see how the wings kind of start out a little bit skinnier, and you'll notice this 1x6 plate and the Technic piece behind it is really what's moving it, but you can notice how it kind of moves in there. It's like it's breathing, and I really like that aspect of this set. It just, for whatever reason, comes to life to me, and I really like that. Now, a negative of this is that this is really the only like displayable range here, is like in here where the thing is at the bottom, right? Because you can't really display it when the wings are at their like highest point, unfortunately, because what'll happen is, you know, you can get it to stay for a second here, but if I, you know, wiggle the model any little bit, they'll just come crashing back down to where they were to begin with. So this is really like the only displayable thing, and having them up like this is not really an option unless you find a way and like mod your set a little bit and just lock this into place so that it doesn't go anywhere. But otherwise, just the smallest tap and movement of table or whatever can make the wings come back down to their original form. So it's possible to get them like this and try to get them to stay, but it's just not the like ideal way to do it because they don't stay there perfectly like you would hope. In general, this Harry Potter Hedwig set has kind of impressed me. I was expecting it to be worse than I think it is. I enjoyed the build and I enjoy the finished model. I think that it's going to be a good set for a lot of Harry Potter fans that just want something for display, because that's not really something, you know, all the Harry Potter sets are about. A lot of them are kind of pseudo display, pseudo play sets. This is one of the few that's like truly a display set, right? So I think that's a really good thing about this one. You get the Hedwig with the open wings, which is kind of exclusive. It's also in a poly bag, but if you can't find the poly bag, this is your only other option. And the Harry Potter is a nice character there as well, but you get Harry Potter in most of the sets anyway, unless you want this particular outfit. And I don't know, I find myself a little bit more impressed in this than I thought I was going to be. Like I said, still probably my least favorite of the sets, but not as bad as I was expecting. And I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm thoroughly impressed, I must say. 630 pieces for $40 for this price per piece nuts. It's a fair price. I think $40 in general is a fair price for what this is, just holding it in my hand, right? So I am very happy with the price on this one, and in general, just the look of the set actually turned out to be a lot better than I expected, other than still the 90-degree angle on the front of the head. Not my favorite, but what are you gonna do? If you're a Harry Potter fan, I gotta recommend this. I think that you can't go wrong with it for 40 bucks, and even at that, if you ever find it on sale, I think you're definitely getting a killer deal at, you know, 20% off, $32, and you're gonna have something that you can display on your shelf or your little table or whatever you want to do with it on your desk, and you're gonna be pretty happy with that. So let me know what you guys think about this set in the comments section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my future LEGO Harry Potter set reviews. I'll be reviewing the whole summer 2020 wave, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.